Hello everyone, welcome back to Tartan Samurai Gaming, and now on with the next part of our Resident Evil 3 playthrough. So first of all, we're going to get some shotgun shells here, always handy, and we're going to have to jiggle the items around a little bit because we are pretty stacked here. So we'll take the shotgun out of course, and we're going to reload it, but that gem will be getting used shortly in the next room, so we'll keep that as it is for now. Now we're ready to move on. So we're heading out now into the next location. Now, when I first played this, I remember crows jumping out of that window at some point, but I guess that must be later on. Okay, so we're going to put one of the gems into the clock. Still have to find the other one though. Yep, so still one gem missing, and of course when we find the gem it'll open up that gate to City Hall. Get some ammo off of the unfortunate victim here. And now's a good time to reload as well. So we're just going to have a quick check around here, make sure there's not any more. No, there isn't. Okay. Right, so onward to the Raccoon City Press, which is the local newspaper. We'll just check the alleyway behind it, and of course that doorway can't be opened at the moment. So into the newspaper office. And there's a first aid spray, that's always welcome, but we'll get that right now. So there we go with our first aid spray. And our first aid pack is now back up to 3. Excellent. Now this step ladder here, we don't need any ink ribbons I don't think, no. So the step ladder we will use to access a couple of things. First of all, there's an item on top of that phone box, and then there's the switch to open the door. So, photo first of all, and close-up shot of a zombie. But as you can see, it's actually taken from the opening cinematic of the game. Now, flick the switch. No need for any sort of power generator puzzle here. Those will come later. We're just flicking the switch, and the door will now open once we hit the green button. As you can see, there's a bit of a fire going on. So up we go. I'm not going to lie, the first time I played this game, I was sure Nemesis was going to jump out at that point. I was convinced that that door was blowing open so that he could come through and get us. But, of course, he will be back shortly, but not at this point of the playthrough, actually. A little while before we run into Nemesis again. Do have some zombies here, though. Magnum shot. Always nice if you can pull one of those off. They are entirely random, though, so don't depend on them. And it's the gem we've been looking for. Excellent. But before we head out, we're going to take care of some cleanup here. So, as usual, head to a nice vantage point at the back of the room and let the zombies come to you. The zombies in classic Resident Evil games are significantly less bullet spongy than they are in the remakes, which I personally think it makes for more fun gameplay, but that's a matter of contention amongst some people I know. So yeah, we're going to have to reload our gun here. And there's a couple of items. I think there's a photo on the table there. Again though, taken from the opening cinematic of the game. Reused assets, but I mean nothing wrong with that. Every game does that. So I think newspaper office has given us all that it's going to, so it's time to head back. Now at certain times, I think it's, each game is slightly randomized to keep it interesting, but I think at certain times Nemesis will attack you there. I was loading my gun there because I was expecting to get attacked, but this time he's not here. So on one hand that's good, on the other hand it means he's going to jump us later on in the game, which we might not be ready for because I was sure he was coming at that point. But anyway, moving on. So now we're going to go and open up City Hall. So the gate is open, and this is the sort of the getting towards the midpoint of the game where it does start to sag a little bit in terms of pace because there's a lot of running about, collecting items, and not that much action. But it's also a bit of a welcome break because the first hour or two of this game really is quite a breakneck pace with you fighting Nemesis multiple times and all the other kind of stuff you have to deal with. So through here, if I remember right, there's a gas station or petrol station depending on your linguistic persuasions. And we can use the crank here to try and open up the door, but unfortunately the crank is rusted, so it's going to snap. Like so. So we'll have to go back and find a wrench. Now, of course, we also need the wrench for earlier on in the game to get the fire hose as well, but that will all come through in all due course. So we're going to keep heading along the other side of the corridor now, where we will run into some resistance, I'm sure. Again, I'm pretty sure you fight Nemesis along this pathway later on in the game, but not right now. So for now, we just want to take care of these zombies, because we will have to run up and down here multiple times, so it makes sense to just clear the decks. Again, just keep shooting. Oh, one of them got up for round 2 there. Oh, that was a timely magnum shot. Allows us to focus on this one. And he's down. You notice as well the Desert Eagle has a much quicker reload than the normal handgun, as well as being more powerful. So that's a bonus. Couple of herbs there, which we'll take while we're passing, because you never know when you're going to need a herb, which is quite often in this game, let's be honest. So on we go. Now, there's a dog there, but if we shoot the barrel, we'll take the dog out as well. And this fella behind us, oops, I accidentally went through the door there. That wasn't what I meant to do. So we'll just head back in. And this fellow lying next to the door should have an item for us, if I remember correctly. Yes, some shotgun shells. And those will definitely come in handy later on. I wonder why there is that ominous close-up of the flames. Surely it can't be because we're going to get jumped later on. Now into the cable car, where we get to meet Carlos's friends. So this here is basically the basis for the next 45 minutes or so of the game. There are 3 parts that have to be replaced in the cable car in order to get it running. So if you look here, we have to replace the power cable, we have to replace the broken fuse, and we have to put in some mixed oil.
You're one of the survivors from the rescue team, right?
Enter Nicholai, one of the most notorious villains in Resident Evil history.
Hey, I'm no ordinary civvy. I'm a member of STARS.
STARS? You mean the RPD Special Force Team?
Hey, is someone wounded back there?
And here we have Mikhail, the most heroic member of the mercenaries, but unfortunately the one who also has the shortest lifespan.
Get ready! Fire! Fire! Stay together!
He really comes into his own in the mercenaries minigame, which you unlock after you finish the main campaign. He's the easiest character to beat the game with.
So Jill, did you decide to help us out? It looks like we're the only ones who survived. We should work together.
No, we can't trust her.
Just in case you were under any illusions as to whether or not Nicholai's a bad guy, he's just unnecessarily being a dick towards Jill, just to re-enhance that point.
That's it. And Mikhail's hurt bad. If we don't cooperate, we won't be walking away from this mission.
Fine. Then let's go over our plan. We're moving to the clock tower area, which is the designated landing zone for the extraction chopper. Once we get there and give the signal, the chopper will fly in and pull us out.
That's a lot of ground to cover. I don't think we can make it on foot.
The main problem we have is that the landing zone is cut off from here by the fire.
So just a bit of elaboration on the plot here.
Fortunately, we can also use it as a
basically, we have to get to the clock tower, and the best way to do that is through the cable car, but the cable car's parts have to be replaced. So the three of them are supposed to be going on a scavenger hunt, but evidently Jill is the only one that's actually going to pick up any items. But we do have a side pack there, which is handy. That will allow us to carry a couple more items, so we can take the wrench with us, because we're going to head straight back to the gas station and use the wrench to get that door open, which will allow us to get the first of the items that we need. And there's the dog, because of course it is. Luckily we're able to take it out with a quick magnum shot, which is extra satisfying, especially after you pull off one of those very difficult dodge moves, entirely by accident I might add. So, bit of backtracking here. As I said, this is where the pace sags just a little bit because you're having to backtrack a lot. There's a couple of little jump scares to keep it interesting, but it's probably the least interesting part of the game. So I don't blame you if you want to skip this video and go on to the next part where things get a bit more exciting. Now this zombie will get a cheap hit in here, but we'll be able to take him down fairly easily. He's a sturdy one though, it took a few more hits than the others, but he did leave us some yellow gunpowder, which is good. So we're heading back here, and we're going to go into the, as I say, we're going to the gas station, so we're going to retrace our steps back along here. So we will now be able to use the wrench to open up this broken crank door, but we'll have to keep the wrench because we're going to have to use it again later on as well to get the fire hose. So there's some red gunpowder on the table there, but we have to ignore that for the time being because
Jill.
Carlos is here.
Hey, the zombies are getting restless.
I know. I can hear them. What's going on?
One of the things that they did really well, I think, in the Resident Evil 3 remake, which, you know, is not as good a game as this one in my opinion, but they really improved Carlos's character because bits like this, he's just not a particularly interesting character. Oh, we've run out of item space. We're going to have to combine a couple of things here. Yeah, he just kind of shows up for no apparent reason. He doesn't seem to have much purpose to him, other than to kind of mildly annoy Jill. But in the remake, he's still a bit of an annoying character, but in a much more charming and likable way. This room is empty, but oh look, there's machine oil all over the floor. I wonder how that's going to figure into the plot in a couple of minutes' time.
Jill!
What's wrong?
They're coming! They must have sniffed us out. They know we're here.
Hey, calm down.
Any objections to my playing hero this time?
What are you doing?
You kind of wonder how this Carlos ever became a mercenary because he doesn't seem to be particularly competent or good at keeping a calm head in a difficult situation. Granted, a zombie apocalypse is probably a bit above his pay grade, but you know, still. Right, we'll do this little lights out puzzle. So basically what we have to do is to get the highlighted letter to be the only light that's on. It's a bit of trial and error, but it's not that difficult. So there's phase 1, but we've got to do it 3 times. And each time you play the game, this is randomized. So it's a nice little puzzle, and it is also, as I said, completely randomized. So I'll get this in a second. There we go. Right. Okay, part 3 now. And we're done. So this will give us some oil, but it's only machine oil. We need mixed oil for the cable car. So we still have to get the oil additive, and that will come later. So unfortunately, we're going to have to leave behind those gunpowders because we just don't have the item space or the time. Now we get the big, well, Carlos first of all decides to start sleeping on the job.
No.
Don't worry, he's okay. It's just melodrama.
Relax.
That's
I'm not
Resident
dead
Evil.
yet.
Classic Resident Evil as it should
you
be.
okay?
You come for the action and the zombie killing, and you stay for the absolutely atrocious dialogue and voice acting.
That hero stuff is harder than it looks.
Although in saying that, Resident Evil 3 is a vast improvement over 1 and 2 in that regard. These people at least sound vaguely like normal human beings. But that's all part of the charm of these games, I think. You know, the bad dialogue and the because it's supposed to be a B movie at the end of the day. It's a corny horror B movie video game.
Ouch,
That's
my
the
ears are
point
ringing.
of it. And I
You
think
both should be deaf by now.
the
Okay,
series maybe
I'm
lost
gonna
something a
scrounge
little
up some
later on when
equipment.
it started to take
There
itself a
might
bit
not
too
be any at our
seriously.
destination.
It needs to have that comedic touch because it is a very dark situation that the characters are in, so you need a bit of levity, I think. Okay, so now we are moving on to the... Well, first of all, we've got to deal with some zombies. So, with those guys down, we can now go in here and there's a statue of the mayor. But in order to access it, we have to push a button. And he's holding a book, but we can't pick it up at the moment because our item box is full. So we're going to have to do a little bit of backtracking again. Now, in classic Resident Evil fashion, if we're going to get a jump scare, it should be right about... No, okay. Oh, sounds like there might be some more zombies back in here, though. So we're just going to reorganize things a little bit here. Ah, on reflection, I could have just reloaded my gun and saved a bit of time there, but oh well, not to worry. So you see there the power cable, which we will need later on. Yep, so that's what I should have done a minute ago, but better late than never, I suppose. So now we are going to get the bronze book from the mayor. And that will allow us to access an earlier puzzle roundabout where the restaurant was. I say puzzle, it's not really a puzzle, you're just swapping out items. So anyway, we've got the book, and now we have to go and swap it out for another item. Yep, zombies are back for round 2, but that's okay. Running a bit short on handgun ammo here, so we need to be careful. And of course he's taking more shots than he would normally would because we're low on ammo, meaning we've got to go with a shotgun. There. We'll leave the rest of the zombies for the time being. Because right now the priority is getting this bronze compass or whatever it is. So we head back along here, and as you can see there's a hole in the wall there for the book. Another herb as well, which is always welcome. So you put the book in, and that allows access to the compass. So back we go now, just retracing our steps. Again, this part of the game, a little bit too much backtracking for my liking, but it is a kind of calm before the storm, as it were. As you will see in part 5. So we're just gonna do a bit of tidy up here. Put the herb away so we don't waste it. As I have got caught with too many herbs on me a couple of times already, and I've ended up wasting them, so we don't want to do that. Now, I think there's a jump scare coming up here, so prepare yourselves, folks. Yep, there they are. It's the crows. They're back again. So just keep running. One of them will get a cheap hit in, they always do, but that's it. And the thing is, when you come back through again, they will have settled, so it won't be as easy for them to attack you. It's just as well, really, because you can't take on crows with a shotgun. It needs to be the handgun. You're just wasting ammo otherwise. Now, with his compass in hand, he will give us battery. So that is now 2 of the items that we need ticked off the list. All we need now is to get the fuel additive, and we will have everything we need for the cable car. So just run past the crows here. No need to engage with them, especially when we don't have a gun that we can use effectively. Okay, and we come down here and through here. And we'll put the battery away for now because we're not going to need it until our last run at the cable car, which will be later on. And we're going to leave it there for now, folks. The action really kicks up in the next part, so please be sure to come back for part 5 here on Tartan Samurai Gaming. I said this is the slowest part of the game, that's it clear now, but I wanted to give you the full picture. So I hope you enjoyed that, regardless of it being a little bit slow. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.